As we conclude our week talking about how God teaches us truth and wants us to speak the truth in love, finally we turn to another great chapter on love. People so often think of 1 Corinthians 13 as a great chapter on love, but you know what? 1 John chapter 3 and 1 John chapter 4 are also great chapters about love and truth. Listen to 1 John chapter 3 from verses 11 through 18. For this is the message you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. We must not be like Cain, who was from the evil one and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his own deeds were evil and his brother's righteous. Do not be astonished, brothers and sisters, that the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death to life because we love one another. Whoever does not love abides in death. All who hate a brother or sister are murderers, and you know that murderers do not have eternal life abiding in them. We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for one another. How does God's love abide in anyone who has the world's goods and sees a brother or sister in need and refuses help? Little children, let us love not in word or speech, but in truth and action. And by this we will know that we are from the truth and will reassure our hearts before him. Some of us have heard cliches in our life, things like, well, that's where the rubber meets the road. Well, one of the rubber meets the road cliche statements almost for us as Christians is the importance of loving one another. And it really is so basic, so foundational to being a Christian. We are to love one another, especially those who are a part of the family of God, but also our neighbors, whoever they may be. And it's always stunning to me that you can read these passages. This is not a new commandment, as John will go on to say later in his book, to love one another. And yet, as John says, anyone who hates another person, it's like the same as committing murder. And I look around in our culture today, and the kind of language that people use when they talk about other people, and people who may be of a different political party, people who may be of a different race or of a different religion. And these are people who often say they're Christians, and yet we neglect this most basic thing. First and foremost, as Christ's followers, we are to love one another. And how do we know if we are living and walking in God's truth? Because we live it out in our lives. So let us love, not just in word and speech. Let's not just talk about it. But as Eliza sings in a song in My Fair Lady, if you're in love, show me. Don't talk of love. Show me. Show love and truth to your neighbors today.